good performance against a really good team, and the game wasn't easy, and we knew very well, and despite they made eight changes compared to the last game against Rome, and you can see the quality, you can see the squad that Leicester has, and yeah, I think that the game was we started well, and then we were lucky when they hit the post. But after this, and we scored with Harry, and then I think we created many chances to improve the final result. I think we deserved then to win the game. For sure, we get 3 points in an important moment of the season, especially because in the next game we are going to face before Liverpool and then Arsenal. And today was vital to get 3 points. And you know very well that when you have to play with only one result, and there is a lot of pressure. But I said to my player to try to live this moment with to enjoy this moment, because we deserved after a really a great work that we did in these 6 months. I think no one at the start of the season can imagine that Tottenham could fight for a place in Champions League, especially in November when it was a change, you know. And for this reason, I think that we have to be satisfied that we stay in this position and to fight for a big achievement.
Can I ask you what you made of Christian Romero tonight?
Yeah, and he played a good game. I think every single player played very well, and for us it's important to well with the whole team if we want to get 3 points. It's not enough to play only 1, 2, 3 players good. We need that all the team play well, and to find a good balance. When happen this, we can win. We can win the game. Yes.
Antonio, you gave Sonny a big hug.
Yeah.
Came off, and you seemed to have a little joke in his ear with him. You had a laugh. Can you tell us what you said to him at all?
Yeah, but I gave him a big hug because after an amazing goal, my question in my mind was, but which is favorite foot, right or left? Yeah, because I think he scored a fantastic goal, and yeah, 3 minutes before, and then when I spoke with him, I said, go for 5-6 minutes. Still 5-6 minutes that then I have to make a change for you. And I said to him, yeah, when you listen that I wanted to make a change, and you decided to score this amazing goal. Yeah, but we are talking about a great player, fantastic player, and but it's important at the end of the season to celebrate a big achievement with the team. Otherwise, it remains only a personal success to score all these goals or this type of goal.
Have you ever managed a striker who is as two-footed? You said to him which is your favourite, but you've worked with a lot of good strikers, but any is two-footed as Son?
But we try to with the strikers also to work. Always to work, to try to improve, no? To improve, to finish, and it was very strange that in the last 2 games, maybe you made a question, no? Maybe that in the last 2 games, and we weren't able to shoot in the goal. Yeah, but for sure we try during the training session to improve every aspect, and for the strikers to shoot, also for the midfielder, the wing back for us are very important. And yeah, I think we must be pleased because Sonny and Harry Kane and the same Deki, but also don't forget Steven Bergwijn, that if for me, and yeah, it's a big difficult to keep him on the bench, no, because Steven maybe is the player that he should deserve more. But you know very well that we have to try to keep always a good balance. For me, he's a striker, a fantastic striker. But in this position, there is a Harry, and then Sonny. Deki give us quality and quantity, and sometimes very difficult, no? And to try to, and yeah, for sure, maybe I'm giving him less that he deserves, and I want to be honest. And Lucas today played a good 50 minutes, and yeah, we have to try to continue in this way and to prepare an important game. Yeah, I think maybe everybody can think that this game will be very difficult for us, no? Especially because Liverpool is in a great form. But we prepared the game very well, and they are fighting for to win the title, to win the league. But we are fighting for an important achievement for us, for a place in Champions League. And for this reason, we want to try to get
time for one more,
points. Yeah, but I think that sometimes, first of all, it was a pity. It was a pity because we have only the league, no, to play, and for this reason, and you can make a lot of rotation when and it's not simple, and to give chances, no, to play. I think that in this week, Lucas Moura deserved to have this chance, also because don't forget Lucas Moura. He's an important player for us, and yeah, I decided in this way. And then when Deki came in, I think he played really well, in the same way that Lucas did in the 55 minutes. I repeat, we have to think about a team, not about an individual player, if we want to try to reach something important for this club.
Thanks a lot, chaps.
Thank you very much.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another good morning Tottenham for you guys at 12:15 in the afternoon. So welcome back to everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Obviously, 3-1 against Leicester in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. Was a good performance for the most part, I thought. Let's get straight in to the match review from yesterday. I think that when I walked into the stadium yesterday, you could really feel the kind of tense atmosphere that was building up within the stadium. It seemed really subdued, not many fans singing. It seemed like a really nervy and a lot of tension in the air in terms of if Spurs were going to get the result. Obviously, it was a massive game in terms of the top four race. And I think that when the game started, Spurs actually came out the blocks quite fast and we were moving the ball quickly. It looked like we were there and we had a bit of a point to prove. But then I don't know what happened, but something in that first half happened and we kind of decided, well, not decided, but Leicester seemed to gain a bit of control in that first half. And again, in that first half, we weren't creating too many chances. I mean, I know we scored with the Sonny corner and Kane was basically completely free in the 6-yard box to head home. But what do you think that was in the first half, where we kind of gave up a bit of that control?
I think there was just some residue sloppiness from the past two performances. I felt we did come out strong without really creating any chances. We were definitely being a bit more aggressive. But then once Leicester got a foothold in the game, we started to take our foot off the gas. We were allowing them possession. We were Harry, every time the ball was going to Harry Kane, he couldn't make it stick. He lost
the ball like 5 or 6 times in a row yesterday.
Yeah, he was having
first half.
He was having a bit of a shocker early doors, Harry Kane, and off the ball, we just seemed a bit lethargic again. There was that moment Samare breezes past Davis, and I think it was Sonny on the right-hand side, cuts it back to Daka, and if it wasn't for an unbelievable fingertip save from Lloris, we're 1-0 down. Leicester were getting a lot of joy. Ben Davies gives the ball away in his own defensive third, and Albright nearly squares it to Daka again, and we get away with that one. Perez was getting in all sorts of spaces. We were just a bit lethargic, I felt. And then it was almost as if the goal we scored woke us up a bit. I did think in general the first half performance was a bit lackluster, even though we went 1-0 up. I didn't think, even after the goal, I didn't think we were that great. And Leicester will probably feel like, did they deserve to go 1-0 down at the break? I don't think they deserve to be winning, but I don't think we would deserve to be 1-0 up at the break. I think it was quite an even game.
0-0 would probably be like a fair result from that first half.
Yeah, and I think both teams were not really that on it, especially considering our past two results and performances. You're expecting a lot better. But then come the second half, I think after 55 minutes, he had seen enough of Lucas Moura, who I thought was having a horrific game.
Yeah.
Everything. I described him as a trampoline before, and I think we took it to new heights this game. Everything was bouncing off him. He couldn't make anything stick. He couldn't hurt Leicester whatsoever. And as soon as we brought Decky on, it was like Decky raised the level of the whole team, not just himself. Immediately he went on that mazy run, didn't he, into the penalty area where he just slipped at the wrong moment, and from that moment on we dominated, and it was all Tottenham pretty much from now. And then it's like that element of sharpness came back into our play as soon as Decky came on. It was like I don't know what he triggered in the team, but we seemed to all of a sudden have crisp passing. We seemed to add that aggression back into our play, which was obviously, you can see that with the second goal we scored. Romero, those two challenges he put in, adding that aggression to our play. Then Decky adds that quality in the final third that we were missing completely without him on the pitch, and we went on to win it quite comfortably at the end.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that when Kulu came on, he just completely grabbed that game by the scruff of the neck and took it to Leicester, where nobody else was really doing that on the pitch yesterday. There were so many moments yesterday. Obviously, he got those 2 assists. There was that moment on the right-hand side, just on the flank, right on the byline, where he takes it past the man, and obviously the move broke down a bit later on, but he was just doing some unbelievable things on that pitch yesterday that just no one was going. He literally just came on and said, look, this game is mine, I'm taking this game literally by the scruff of the neck, and he won that game for us yesterday, Decky, and he completely changed the game. Him and Romero, I thought, were absolutely brilliant. Obviously, Heung-min Son, I mean, that third goal, it was like one of those shots on FIFA, you know, when you just get it in the corner, quick finesse over the top, and it lands in the top corner. And with his weaker foot as well. I mean, does he even have a weaker foot?
No, I don't think he does. I think he's over half of his goals this season, even though he's got 19. I think 11 of them, I think, have been with his left foot. He got his first goal with his left foot.
To strike it like that.
He's done it before.
I know he's done it before, but
with his left foot.
It's
like
unbelievable to see, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure he's done it against Leicester, on his left foot like that. He's so ambidextrous. We've said it before. Like, you don't know which way he's going to go, and there was an unbelievable strike right into the top corner. No chance for Schmeichel as well to get anywhere near it. It was a world-class finish from Sonny. And I think we ended the game probably a bit sloppily because, you know, we conceded. It was at Winks, I think, got caught out for the goal. Bergwijn could have got closer as well. Wasn't a great goal to concede, but look, the game was done by then anyway. And I think it wasn't a vintage display, but I think overall we probably deserved the victory in the end. We had 7 shots on target, which, you know, more than we had in past 2 games combined, so that was a much more positive. But I did get the feeling like Leicester, as soon as we went 2-0, they just gave up. Like, they didn't really have it in them to force to try themselves back in the game, and they probably all, as soon as that second goal went in, I felt like they started thinking about midweek. Like, it felt like their mind was on other things.
Yeah, which is understandable
the way
as well.
pulled out that challenge, you know, for that second goal, like Romero. And was going full-blooded. Yeah, Sionchu didn't really want it, did he?
And Romero, I mean, that encapsulated his game yesterday. That for that second goal, both those challenges, absolutely brilliant, aggressive challenges, and he was head and shoulders above anyone on that pitch for the majority of that 90 minutes. I thought he was absolutely breathtaking yesterday, Cuti Romero. He really was, and you know, those 2 challenges set the tone. Kulusevski gets the ball, checks inside, squares it to Heung-min Son, and Heung-min Son checks on his other foot and finishes it in the reverse corner. So I thought it was an unbelievable goal, to be honest, and Kulusevski and Romero are completely central to that. And that's what happens when you've got kind of players like that pretty much can win you the game. And it's so good to see like that Lucas Moura wasn't having a good game, and we have someone on the bench that can come on and completely swing the game, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. And
it was interesting that the thing everyone was worried about before the game, like, was our main problem. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was saying, what were we doing starting Lucas? Like, you know, Lucas hasn't been good for a while. Kulusevski, I know he's had a couple of bad games, but, you know, no one really wanted to see him drop.
I could understand it, though.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it's an admission of him being wrong, but he didn't even last an hour, did he?
Yeah, but I can understand it because Kulu, ever since he's come into the club, right, he's played every single game pretty much, and he hasn't had a rest, and he has, you know, haven't had 2 good performances in the last couple of games, 2 bad performances, pretty much non-existent. So I think it was the right decision from Conte. I don't know if it was the right decision to start Moura. Maybe I would have started Bergwijn, but obviously Conte doesn't like Bergwijn in that position. So he started Moura. And yeah, Moura wasn't good, and Kulu came on and completely changed the game. And he looked much more fresher when he came on the pitch. And maybe that bit of that 45 minutes of rest maybe did him good yesterday.
Yeah, you could argue that. And he definitely did look a lot sharper when he came on the pitch. I still think there's a lot of, not him personally, but I think in the team performance, there's still a lot to improve on, even from yesterday, if we're going to get anything on the weekend at Anfield, because that's a massive game now. But I think at least we got out the funk of not having shots on target. We looked a bit more creative when we were going forward. Second half especially, we were on top and we were dominant. But especially in the first half, I felt like we hadn't gotten over how we'd been playing recently, which was a bit annoying. But I think by the end of it we did, and hopefully we go into Saturday full of confidence. But look, Arsenal won their game, so it's a massive game now against Liverpool. Unfortunately, with Arsenal winning, that's quite a big blow, because in reality now, if we assume that Arsenal, look, obviously there's no guarantee they're going to beat Leeds, but if we assume they are going to beat Leeds, we have to win. A draw's not even good enough, really, in that game. We kind of have to win, because, you know, if we fail to beat Liverpool and Arsenal win, they could seal it at our ground, and that would be horrific.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So they're 2 points above us now.
Yeah. If they win and we don't,
yeah,
and then they beat us, then it's over.
Oh, and they beat us, yeah.
Then they can seal it at our ground, which
Yeah.
would be horrific. But we need to go into that North London derby with the situation being if we beat them we go above them. I think it's so important we do that, and
I
it's
still
looking.
think there's opportunities after that. There
It's
is
looking
opportunities.
unlikely.
They go to Newcastle away straight after we play them.
They got Newcastle and Everton, so it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for them. I'm not saying guaranteed wins, but the way they've just got over the line in the last few games tells me like they have it in them to do it, and that's the problem.
I actually
what I'm
think
worried
Arsenal's games from now until the end of the season are quite difficult, in my opinion. I think Leeds are a team that are playing well at the moment. They're on good form, and they're really getting sucked into this relegation.
Lose 4-0.
They did, but before that they were kind of playing well, and they're scrapping for their lives now. That result on the weekend has put them in real danger. Especially with Everton winning and Burnley winning on the weekend.
Yeah, they're right back in it.
They're right back in it, so they're going to be scrapping for their lives this weekend. So that's not an easy game for Arsenal. I'm telling you that now. That it's not an easy game. Obviously, then they got to come to us, which is not going to be an easy game for them. Then they got to go away to Newcastle as well, which is also not an easy game. That's 3 difficult games on the bounce for Arsenal. I'm not sure if they're going to pick up maximum points in them.
I just hate not being in control of the situation, and I feel we give up even more control with a loss to Liverpool. If we beat Liverpool, it's in our everything technically still in our control. But I don't consider it being in our hands when we go to when we have Liverpool to play, because for me, because people always talk about it's in our hands and this kind of stuff, but I see it in our hands as it's up to us. If we do our part, then top 4 is in our hands. But the problem is for me is that Liverpool are that good. They're one of the best teams, not just like in the league right now, but you could argue one of the best Premier League teams of all time. This is what we're up against on Saturday. Obviously, we've shown we can get results against big teams already this season, so you can't rule it out. But the thing is, we could be our best on Saturday. We could be our very best, give our maximum, and can still lose because Liverpool are that good. So in a way, we kind of need Liverpool to drop their performance a bit if we're going to get all 3, if we're going to get something at Anfield. So in that sense, we are relying on Liverpool a bit. So I don't see it being in our hands to win on Saturday. That's why I don't consider it on our hands.
It's not on our hands, but it doesn't mean it's beyond all realms of possibility. I think that
it's not. It's not. We've shown against City, we beat them.
Not even the Liverpool game, but even if we lose to Liverpool, I still think there's a chance there for us. I really do. I think you got the North London derby, you got the game after where we got Burnley at home, which won't be an easy game as well. That's not a give me game either. So we got Burnley at home, and they got to go away to Newcastle. I think there are going to be twists and turns still in this race. I really believe that.
There will, but if we go, we have, you don't want to be in a situation where we're going into North London derby 5 points behind. I don't think that's a good situation to be in. As much as there's still a chance, obviously we beat them, we make it 2 points, and then they'll have to. But the thing is,
it's not a good situation. Of course, it's not going in 5 points behind, but it's not like a completely dead situation where we can't claw that back, because we can with Arsenal's hard games. Arsenal are not playing well at the moment. They are just getting over the line in these games. They are, and I think that when they're going to come up against teams with actually things to play for, that are scrapping for their lives and fighting and being really aggressive, I think that they will drop points. I really believe that. I don't think that they're playing well enough to say that, they're going to win this game, they're going to keep winning.
They just keep getting over the line at the moment. They keep
playing
getting
a West Ham
over the line.
team who played a weak team yesterday. They played a Chelsea team that lay down for them pretty much, and a Man United side they got really unlucky. A Man United side that got really unlucky. So when you look at those 3 games, yes, they're getting over the line, and credit to them, because that's what you've got to do at this stage of the season. But you've got to look at the games that they're playing.
One thing I would say in all 3 games, and to give them credit, is that in all 3 games they've played over the last, they haven't played that well, but they have been very good at seeing the game out. And they've done it very well over the past 3 games. And yeah, maybe you could argue they've been a bit lucky to have the lead, which you could argue that in all 3 games. But I would say in the last 20 minutes or so, in those last 3 games they've barely conceded a chance. And that's impressive. You've got to give them credit for that.
Let's see what happens when it goes against them. Let's see what happens when they go 1-0 down. because they haven't gone 1-0 down, and I think it'll be a very different game if they were to go 1-0 down especially in the games that were just played as well.
They're very bad at going 1-0 down. I think only one game under Arteta at all in his whole tenure have they come back from going 1-0 down, and that was against Wolves not so long ago. They got very lucky in that game.
This race is not over, even if we lose to Liverpool this weekend.
They need
even if we go into the derby 5 points behind, this race ain't over.
It's not over, but there's not a lot of control we have. I guess if we go 5 points behind into the derby and we beat them, we can just hope for a draw in one of their other games and overtake them on goal difference. Luckily, our goal difference is really strong that we can rely on that, and it might come down to that if they can. Because I don't think it'll be a good situation if we needed one of Everton or Newcastle to beat them. Because I don't know if they will lose either of those games, but if we can hope for a draw, that's something to cling on to. That's something to cling on to. But you never know. I think if we go and beat Liverpool on Saturday, then I'm really confident we're going to get that top 4 spot.
Yeah, obviously that's a massive, massive if. I mean, I can't see us going to Anfield and winning. I just can't see it.
We should have beaten them earlier in the season. We beat Man City away. Beat Man City twice.
They're a different team to earlier in the season in that particular game because they.
We beat Man City.
I know we beat Man City, and I've been saying.
We weren't lucky that game either.
I've been saying all week that the style of play that Liverpool play will play into our hands, but it's just about if we take our chances on the day because we'll get chances. It's all about if we take our chances on the day, and at Anfield we very rarely do take our chances.
No. So the weird thing is at Anfield we actually always play well there every year.
Yeah.
Well, something I don't know what it is, but we always get screwed. Every year we always go 1-0 up, and we always play really well, and we always miss a chance to go 2-0 up. It happens every year. It's mad.
Yeah.
And then 90th minute we'll concede the winner. Every time. It's happened about 4 or 5 times now. Yeah. That it's a bit ridiculous how that keeps happening.
I know. In that year when Wanyama scored that goal, I mean, Harry Kane misses a penalty and then he scores one, but he misses one 5 minutes before, and if he scores that, we probably win the game.
That was that one. Sissoko had a 1-on-1, blaze it over, then Alderweireld scored an own goal. Last season, Bergwijn 2 chances, and then Firmino scores in the 90th minute.
Even this year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, how many chances did we have to win that game?
Yeah. And then there was that season as well where we go 1-0 up very early and Son rounds Alisson. He only hits the bar and then they get a late penalty and win the game. It happens every year at Anfield.
The problem is at this stage of the season, Anfield's going to be rocking. They're going for the title, and they're just I don't even think in the past couple of games they've even been that good. Against Everton, I didn't rate them that much. Against Villarreal, they were very good and solid and got the job done. And I don't think they're at their breathtaking best at the moment in the last couple of games.
Yeah. Obviously, then you just got over the line yesterday as well against Newcastle. Hopefully Newcastle can have a similar performance as Arsenal. So I reckon they might get something out of that game at St James's. But Liverpool, it's going to be, obviously we've got all week to talk about this game, but it's going to be so difficult to get something. But I think we can do it if we play like we did against Man City, and we probably will have in fact, we're going to have the same team out because Reguilon didn't play that game. Emerson also started, and it was the same team that played yesterday, wasn't it? Except for Lucas.
You're saying the same team that played yesterday is going to play at Liverpool, yeah. Apart from Lucas,
from Lucas, that played against. I'm saying that's the team that played against City,
right?
Because Sessegnon started that game, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sessegnon and Emerson, yeah.
And Emerson. So maybe, if we could have a very similar performance, which we played very well that game and we deserve to win that game. So maybe if we do that, you never know, we can spring a surprise. And it'll be very interesting to see if we do win that game, how Arsenal react to that.
So they play Sunday, do they?
Yeah, we play Saturday, they play Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think that on the face of it, Arsenal probably should beat Leeds and probably will beat Leeds, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion in that game. I think Leeds have got to put in a big performance because they're scrapping for their lives.
I agree.
And you've got to say that in a lot of games for both teams come from now to the end of the season. Both of us have got teams that are playing for something. Liverpool fighting for the league, Arsenal fighting for top 4, Burnley fighting for relegation, and then Norwich will be down by the time we play them.
They're already down.
They got relegated this weekend, did they?
Did.
And then Arsenal's games, they got Leeds who are scrapping for their lives. They got us going for top 4. They got who's they get? Newcastle.
Everton.
I mean, they're not fighting for anything, but they're just playing well at the moment under Eddie Howe, under a new regime. And they'll have Everton last game of the season. Hopefully by then they'll still be scrapping for their lives.
I'm sure they will. They got a game in. They're 2 points behind with a game in hand. So they're definitely, I think, going to be in with a chance.
What I'm saying is both teams have got really big games from now to the end of the season, not just in terms of us, but in terms of their opposition as well. So I think that at this stage of the season, you can't predict these games. You just can't, because
take it game by
it's
game.
impossible to predict. You can't, like, who would have said like Everton would have beaten Chelsea yesterday? You know what I mean? I mean, people might have said it, but at Goodison, yeah, fine. But you would say it's the same against Arsenal and Leeds. No one would have predicted Leeds to win, but they might get a result. They just might, because when you're scrapping for your life, something can happen.
It was just very demoralising to see Arsenal win yesterday. The thing is, as well, the annoying thing is, if we would have gotten that draw against Brighton, I wouldn't even have been that, like, we could have afforded to draw against Liverpool and it's still in our hands.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we didn't even get the point. That's why those points. Maybe that's what Conte was saying. Because if we go into that game against Liverpool only needing a draw as opposed to a win, it's a much better situation.
Of course. But look, we find ourselves in this situation that we're in right now, and we just got to take it game by game, like we say. I think we can still just concentrate on ourselves. Let's start off with the game this weekend against Liverpool and see where we go. Obviously, Arsenal are favourites for the top four now, and it looks as though for everyone that they're going to get it. But we can still get through. We can still get through via the back door. We can get a result. Maybe not at Anfield this weekend, but I think we can win our remaining 3 games of the season after that. And if we do, that'll put us in a good chance.
All right, let's see how it goes. And it's going to be a big end to the season, though, isn't it? It's going to be so many big games coming up. It's all still to be decided everywhere, isn't it? Except for Watford and Norwich. Unfortunately, they're down. Apart from that, everything's still up in the air, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Big end to the season. I do feel like Man City probably will end up winning the league. I can't see
just
them.
one game to drop points.
I know, but I can't see them dropping points from now to the end of the season.
You never know.
You do never know, but I just can't see it. The relegation is interesting, really interesting.
Well, we're going to stop Liverpool's title charge anyway.
Exactly. But the relegation, I mean, who knows who's going to go down? I still think it's going to be Everton.
You reckon?
I mean, Everton are the ones actually playing the best out of the 3, potentially, but I don't know, man.
Well, Burnley, 3 wins on the trot.
Yeah.
But it's against Southampton, Wolves and Watford. Not the hardest games. Not the easiest game, sorry. Then you got Leeds. Leeds, man. Maybe Leeds are still... Who they got their last few games? They just lost 4-0. They got Arsenal, Chelsea, Brighton and Brentford. 4 games, you could easily see them winning none of them.
Yeah. True.
The way Brighton are playing as well. Brighton have really hit form all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And Brentford are playing very well. And then the other 2 are Leeds and Chelsea and Arsenal.
That's why as well, Leeds are going to be looking at their fixtures and they just need to get as many points in each of those games as possible. And they're going to be absolutely scrapping for their lives, Leeds. And we know that they've got that aggressive edge to them. And we know that they can outrun opponents as well. So I got a feeling Leeds are might do this.
If Everton do need something on the last day of the season against Arsenal, the way they've been defending, they could definitely get something. It's just whether they'll score.
The way who've been, sorry?
The way
Everton against Arsenal, you
The
say?
way they've been defending at them like recently. Like if they need something on that last day, you never know.
Yep. And the same goes for us against Burnley as well. The same goes for us against Burnley. If Burnley come to Tottenham Stadium with a plan to stifle Harry Kane and pack the midfield and, you know, play a low block or whatever, they can do us at Tottenham Stadium. They really can.
I'd much rather face Burnley at home than Everton at home, in my opinion.
I'm not too sure. I think I might rather face Everton. I think Burnley, the way they play their football, plays into more in their hands. I think Everton. I think we got the beating of Everton more than we do of Burnley. You know, in terms of the way the both teams set up.
I reckon the way they're both playing at the moment. I think Everton obviously battered them 5-0 a few weeks ago, but I think they've changed a bit now under Lampard. They've gone a lot more pragmatic than they were. And actually, I know Burnley are playing well at the moment, but I think the way we play, I reckon would score goals against Burnley. And I reckon Everton right now, they've moved to a back 3, and they've just got better quality. They've got better players than Burnley. And I think when push comes to shove, I think the quality could tell. So I reckon I'd rather play Burnley, that's why.
Interesting. But anyway, let's move on. That is our match review that kind of swayed into a top 4 review. But actually, just before we do move on, with Chelsea losing yesterday, Arsenal only 3 points behind them. We're only 5 points behind them.
Yeah.
Is it a possibility?
I can't really see it. Their fixtures are not that difficult. I mean, I know they lost to Everton, but they got Wolves next, then Leeds, then Leicester, then
And
Watford.
Wolves have lost 3 on the bounce now.
Yeah, Wolves at home, Leeds away, and then they got 2 home games to finish the season against Leicester and Watford. I mean, we're gonna need them to lose at least 3 of them probably. I don't know if I see 3 defeats there. And because we're 6 points.
They're really
behind.
not playing well at the moment.
They're
though.
not playing well, but I think if they would have drawn instead of getting that last minute winner against West Ham last week, then I think the door might be open. But I think that win might have just sealed it for them.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on now. That is our match review of the 3-1 win against Leicester at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. Let's go and see how Twitter reacted to the game last night.
All right. First of all, there's Matty Hayes. He was in the ground yesterday. He won his first games in the Tottenham Stadium. Big up to Matt Hayes. Hope he had a good time.
Big up, Matty. Shame I didn't get to see him yesterday.
He says his record at Tottenham games is 1-8, drawn 2. Lovely stuff. Yeah, he should come more often.
Definitely.
Here's Romero after the game yesterday, replying to one of the Tottenham tweets. This is him coming in the tunnel. There he is. Vamos!
Yeah, I saw that.
I love it. I love Romero so much.
Yeah.
There was
He is
obviously
quickly
Kulusevski.
becoming a real fan's favourite, isn't he? The aggression and passion he shows on the pitch is second to none on our team at the moment.
Well, there's Reggie. He doesn't seem to be he seems to be walking okay. Not on crutches or anything, Reggie. But do you reckon we'll see him for now to the end of the season? It's hard to say.
I don't think we will, to be honest.
His season might be over, but there he is, walking down the tunnel. Matt Laws says Romero has been a superb signing for Tottenham, already one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. 42 million for him will prove to be a real bargain. And we spent 42 million on Sanchez, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think we finally got it right this time with Romero.
Yeah, Don Paratici working his magic in the summer, apart from every other deal we did.
Definitely. Kulusevski's game by numbers. He only was on for 35 minutes. 100% passing accuracy, 19 touches, 6 duels won, 5 possessions won. Wow. 4 take-ons attempted and 3 completed, 2 tackles, 2 chances created and 2 assists.
That take
Brilliant
on, the one I was talking about
On
in
the
the match
byline.
preview in the byline was unbelievable.
And then he finds Højbjerg as well, an unbelievable pass. And
Yeah.
Højbjerg's bad touch just kind of lets him down.
Yeah.
That was brilliant from him. After 34 games, Chelsea have as many league wins as Tottenham and Arsenal, which is mad when you think about how many people thought they were favourites for the title after 11 games.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
It's mad.
Chelsea have dropped off really
Chelsea,
badly.
I don't know what's happened to them this season, because it was even before this Ukraine stuff happened that Chelsea fell off.
Yeah, it was about January time. They
Yeah.
kind of
I
fell
don't know
off
what's
the wagon.
happened to them.
I don't know. I just think it's they put a lot of emphasis on Lukaku, and it's just gone horribly wrong for some reason.
But why? I don't get it. Like, why has Lukaku not working made everything fall off? They didn't have Lukaku last season. Back end of last season, they seem unbeatable at times.
Well, yes and no. They won the Champions League, but their league form was still fairly up and down. They got top 4, but they went through long games. They were just getting a lot of 0-0s. They weren't.
But they looked like solid at the back. They look like a really solid, well-organised team. You don't see
Yeah.
that anymore.
I still think they keep a lot of clean sheets. They just sometimes don't look very creative going forward. I think obviously against Arsenal they were a bit all over the place to the back. It's difficult to put your finger on it. Why it's gone a bit stale for them over the last
I'm not going to
few
complain.
weeks.
I'm not
Definitely
going to
not.
complain.
Son Heung-min has scored 19 league goals from only 11.6 XG this season, an overperformance of 65%.
That's nuts.
And he's now scored 87 Premier League goals from only 56 XG. That's incredible.
That's absolutely
That's
nuts.
incredible. I don't think people realise how elite that is when it comes to finishing. 87 goals from 56 XG, which means most of his goals, over 50% of his goals, you don't expect him. The average player wouldn't
Well,
score.
those stats are pure filth.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Big up Sonny, man.
Yeah,
So underrated as well,
Look how many
you know. so underrated. A lot of the season, people were like, "Oh, Sonny's not doing it," you know,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. This is his best season in the Spurs shirt stats wise.
19 goals. He's going to hit hopefully 20 goals this season. He's never done that before. He's had an unbelievable season in the end, and he's especially early in the season when we had Nuno, he was kind of carrying us, wasn't he? He was 5 wins we got at the beginning of the season, all pretty much all down to, a lot of them were down to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mad that he's got nearly 30 goals over his expected goals, which means that means 30 of those goals pretty much have been really hard finishes that you don't expect him to score. Like, he doesn't do tap-ins, does he, Sonny?
No.
Steven Bergwijn was caught talking to some Dutch media yesterday, and he said he was asked about starting for Spurs. He said, a starting spot here, I don't think so, to be honest. It's a complicated story for me. I don't play much. Ajax could be an option for me. A return to the Netherlands could be an option for me. The World Cup is coming. So you can see where his mind is at. It sounds like he's going to be off in the summer, doesn't it? And this is what I was saying in January or when over the past few months, when people asked me do I think Bergwijn will be here next season, I said right now I don't think he wants to be here. Like, why would he when he's just not getting the game time?
Conte was speaking about him in his post-match press conference, and he was saying that Bergwijn's really unlucky. He deserves to play more, and he's not getting the minutes, and he's the one that's picking the team. He sees him as solely a striker. He doesn't see him anywhere else on the pitch, Stevie B. And I think that's a bit harsh on Bergwijn, to be honest, because I would have started him ahead of Mori yesterday in that position, and even on the right wing, or even put Sonny over on the right and put him on the left. I mean, I would have tried to fit Stevie B in yesterday. I would even potentially look at him as a potential wing back to fit him in. Not just to fit him in, but we've got players in those positions that are not performing. Kulu got a rest yesterday for the first half. I would have stuck in Stevie B. Emerson's not performing. I would have also stuck in Stevie B. So I think it's harsh what's going on with him at the moment, because I think he's performing every time he comes on the football pitch, and he looks like he's got a point to prove every time he comes on the football pitch. So I think Conte is mismanaging him a little bit.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see him get more minutes on the pitch, but maybe we just need someone more suited to. I don't know. I don't like who is more suited to why isn't he suited to how we want to play? I don't know. I think he can play in that front three. So it's a shame if we do let him go. But look, if it means bringing in someone who Conte thinks is more suited to the system, then we'll just have to accept it, I guess. But it's a bit frustrating because he's a good player, and I think he's showing over the past few months that when he has got on the pitch, he's trying to make a difference. But I don't know.
Unfortunately, look, I
strange.
think he's going to have to leave in the summer
for himself.
Yeah. Exactly. If Conte doesn't. I think Conte knows he's a good player as well. The way he was speaking about him in the press conference, I mean, it clearly he knows that he deserves his chance and deserves more chances, but he's very stubborn in the fact that he'll only play him in Harry Kane's position.
But he played him on the left yesterday. He came on the left.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a starting role or a starting role pretty much.
Yeah. But I guess I remember there was a period of people calling for Son to be dropped and him to come in, but that was never going to happen.
No, I wouldn't do that. The only spot for him would have been on the right, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you can't even now. Kulusevski's playing too well.
Yeah, but that was the opportunity yesterday, wasn't it? That Kulu came out the team, Lucas came in. Lucas has been poor every time he's come on. Bergwijn has been good every time he's come on. It's a no-brainer for me.
I feel like maybe he doesn't like Bergwijn off the right.
Yeah, he doesn't, but it doesn't mean you can't try it. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean he can't have a good game there. He can, and he would have performed better than Lucas did yesterday for sure. Yeah. I'm certain of it.
All right, Kulusevski has surpassed Mason Mount's 103 open play assist tally in just 14 games. So Kulusevski has more open play assists than Mason Mount does.
That's mad.
In his career.
That's mad.
Not just this season.
That's mad. and also Kulu has got more assists than any Arsenal player this season as well.
Correct, and he's only played 14 games. I mean, again, he comes on and got a 2 there.
And they want to compare him to Bukayo Saka.
Oh,
do me a favour.
Do one, mate. I think we're all Højbjerg after Son's strike yesterday here.
Yes, Højbjerg was like, he was like, whoa!
Brilliant. I thought that was a great, that was a good picture. Most left-footed goals in the Premier League this season. You got Salah on 18, then Son is second on 11. Mahrez is on 11 and Saka on 10. The second right-footed player to score 10 or more goals in a single season with his left foot after Harry Kane in 2017.
Unbelievable.
But it's funny how he's the second most left-footed goal scorer in the league, and he's not even left-footed. You know, he's got more. Only Salah has more than him, and he's got those more than Saka, the same as Mahrez, who's obviously very left-footed and hardly ever uses right. Very impressive from Son. He's so two-footed,
and he's also got the most open play goals this season as well.
Most open
because
play
Salah
goals.
takes penalty. I mean, for him as a winger, I know Salah's a winger as well, but for him as a winger to be as high as he is in the goal scoring charts, it's unbelievable without being a penalty taker.
Yeah, and as well, the fact as well, he's got 19 Premier League goals and 11 with his left foot. Like, is he left foot or right foot?
What does it say, though, about the current climate of strikers in the Premier League at the moment, where two wingers are the top two goal scorers?
Yeah, I mean, strikers for some reason have had a difficult season. Obviously, Kane has had a good second half of the season, but first half he had his troubles.
Ronaldo's up there as well.
Ronaldo's an interesting one because he scored like 15 goals, but like he gets like a lot of hat tricks. So he goes like on long goalless
He's got
droughts.
2 hat tricks this season, yeah.
He gets like hat tricks and braces. So like he doesn't score in that many games, but when he does score, he scores like multiple goals. But look, you can't argue with his goal tally. He's got 15, I think. Lukaku's struggled massively. You had like the likes of Watkins and Ings, who haven't really had the best of seasons, have they, this season? Arsenal haven't got a goal scorer. Man City play with no striker. Liverpool play with wingers as strikers pretty much. So maybe strikers are going out of fashion.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
It seems like it. It's like Spurs have pretty much got in the top 6, the only one that has a proper recognised striker.
Yeah, who's actually scoring. You know what I mean?
and as well, Kane as well. He drops deep a lot, so he's actually playing more of like a number 10 this season anyway.
And then you got Antonio. His goals are dried up a lot.
Yeah. And Jamie Vardy's had his injury issues this year.
Yeah, Vardy's getting on a bit.
Vardy actually in the first half of the season was knocking them away, wasn't he? He scored quite a few goals.
Yeah, he was. A lot of them penalties.
But yeah, Shorem says Haaland coming to the Premier League will change that next season.
You're probably right about that. Here's Romero's reaction to Sonny's goal. I love it. Gotta love Kuti. Unbelievable. He's great in the celebrations.
And you know what? We didn't mention in the review, but I thought Bentancur had a really strong game yesterday. I thought he controlled that midfield yesterday. He did have a few sloppy moments, quite a few actually, but I think for the most part he performed really well yesterday.
I think him and Højbjerg controlled it pretty well, to be fair. Harry Kane has 17 goals now in 14 games against Leicester, the most he's scored against any side. He does love a goal against Leicester. Although he scored yesterday, do you think overall, I think he improved as the game went on, but he did start the game very sloppily, didn't he?
He did. I mean, I was saying it in the stands. I think Barry and Grandpa and Dad were sitting around me, and I was like, what is going on with Harry Kane? I mean, every time he got that ball in the opening stages of the game, he lost it.
Yeah, just
5 or 6 times in a row, like bang. Every time it went to Harry Kane, we lost it. And then obviously he gets the goal. But Leicester, the defending for that goal was shocking.
Yeah, just complete free header just outside the 60-yard box. Can't be allowing Kane there. BR Football says, have Chelsea been pulled back in the top 4 race? They're asking to join us on the couch.
I think that if Spurs and Arsenal pick up points this weekend, which is unlikely for both of us to do that, and Chelsea lose, then there's a chance. But I think, like you said, one more win for Chelsea probably seals it.
Yeah, I can't see them not getting it. Spurs boss Antonio Conte took charge of his 100th match as a Premier League manager yesterday with 65 victories, only bettered by Guardiola and Mourinho in their first century of games. Pretty good. He took charge of his 100th game in the Premier League.
Oh, I see.
And his record is only bettered by Guardiola and Mourinho in terms of his first 100 games.
So what you're saying, in that stat, we've had 2 out of the 3 managers and we're still not going to win anything.
Correct. Yep. Damn, exactly. Only Tottenham, eh? Only Tottenham. Tottenham are the top goal scorers in the Premier League over the last 16 games with 39 goals despite not scoring on 5 of those occasions.
Unbelievable, that.
That's mad. So
only Tottenham can have these stats, I'm telling you.
5 games we haven't scored, so we scored 39 goals in 11 of those games, which is mad, actually, when you think about it. It's on average of nearly 4 a game. Tottenham have scored 15 goals in their last 6 games, and Son has been involved in 9 of them.
Yeah, and the last 2 games we didn't have a shot on target in each of them.
Yeah, but Son has been directly involved in 9 of our last 15
yeah.
goals.
You got to say, I'm going to say it right now, Sonny is our player of the year. For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's been consistently over the whole season. You have to give it to Sonny. I think he's been our best player. And it says across the last 16 games in the Premier League, Spurs have either scored multiple goals or no goals in each match, despite failing to score in 5 of these. Spurs are top scorers, so it's basically all or nothing. They're saying. So in 11 of those games we scored over 2. We scored 2 or more goals, and then in 5 of them we scored none. And
Probably
so
should have done an Amazon documentary this season, because that's literally what we've been this season.
Yeah, literally. Premier League panel say never seen a phase of play to sum up Romero more than that second Spurs goal. 2 blood and thunder tackles after stepping out from the back 3, which led to the goal. He's just a phenomenal talent who will put the onus on himself to win games for his teams with his defending.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said that in the review. I mean, that encapsulated his performance, that encapsulated him ever since he's come into this team. And we're lucky to have him. We really are. And not only that, but people forget how young he actually is and how much better he can actually get.
Yeah. And also, once we get a team, I feel like right now he's making up for a lot of the flaws in the team a lot of the time. And when we get more people on his level, like a right wing back and then some centre backs who are as aggressive as he is, like, I feel like his aggression makes up for the lack of aggression from other players.
Agreed.
But once the aggression is matched from other players, like, we're going to be such a different unit to play against. And right now we're doing our best to cover the cracks, but we still sometimes don't get the results that we should. And maybe next season
we have a competent right wing back to go next to him, man. I just
what
can't
do you think
wait.
of Emerson yesterday? Do you think he was bad?
No, I don't think he was terrible. I just
Still,
don't think he was great. I just don't think he didn't have a good display. I mean, defensively he was good, but he offered absolutely nothing going forward. Absolutely nothing. I mean, how many times do you look at that football pitch and see Emerson completely free on that right-hand side? Spurs players don't want to pass him. Leicester players didn't want to go defend him either.
Yeah.
They just leave him completely free. No, but it's like sometimes when we're going forward, it's like we're playing with 10 men whenever Emerson there.
Yeah, and they just
That's
don't
what
want
it
to
feels
use
like.
him.
We don't want to use him, and the opposition don't care about him.
Yeah, I agree. There's Kulusevski getting more assists so far than Odegaard this season by double.
Yeah,
double the assists of Odegaard.
That's a mad stat, because Odegaard, actually since November, I think he's created the most chances in the Premier League.
So maybe it says more about who he's supplying,
Maybe.
potentially. This is expected goals is divisive for some, but there's no doubt about Humans finishing this season. He's got he's the top in the league for overperforming his expected goals, higher than De Bruyne, Ward-Prowse, Smith Rowe and Zaha. And considering as well, De Bruyne and Ward-Prowse score a lot of goals from outside the box. So that shows how elite his finishing is,
And, we're talking about him over scoring his XG by quite some way.
We always do it every year. Last season as well, he did it massively.
But what I'm saying is that I can't really remember too many goals. Maybe I'm completely wrong and my memory is going a bit crazy, which it is sometimes. But has he scored many kind of goals with low XG this season in terms of like bangers or goals that you don't expect him to score? Because I can't remember too many.
Well, early, first day of the season, he scored from outside the box against City, didn't he? The goal against Watford was maybe a cross, but that's probably a goal.
That's probably 0 XG, that goal.
Yeah, that's probably at 0.1 or something. Then obviously yesterday, I'm trying to think of other games he scored. How's he scored against his XG? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember some of the other goals he scored. Let us know in the chat what bangers has Sonny scored this season.
That's the only 2 I can remember, the one in the first game of the season and the one yesterday. I can't really remember any others this season that he scored.
I'm sure there are.
But there are 19 of them,
exactly.
so I can't remember all 19 goals. So
I'm sure he scored a few from outside the box this season.
Rifle says West Ham. Did he score a bang against West Ham?
The deflection.
Oh, was it deflection? That one.
The deflection off, what's his name, off Zuma. You can count that. The other one was just a one-on-one. Did it say here if you go into his thing? I don't know if it says exactly. Maybe not.
Because a lot of his goals this season have been brilliant passes from Harry Kane and him just bearing down on goal one-on-one and just slotting it. That's been like what the majority of his goals have been like, haven't it?
So 2 goals from outside the box. A lot of them have just been from central. Apparently the goal, his hat-trick goal against Villa, that was a very low XG. The the low XG goals. There haven't been too many other ones. A lot of them been 0.3, which is fairly high. His other one against Leicester yesterday was fairly low, although that was, yeah, you might have a good point there. Not too many of them have been, apart from City and the other one. The other ones they've all been about 0.3, which is about a third chance.
But what I'm saying about that, is we need, against like especially low block teams, we need Sonny to start having more shots from outside the area. Him and Kane, to be honest, not just Sonny. We need to start taking more shots from 25, 20 yards out.
Because we've got lethal players
That's
from there,
what
and
I'm saying.
Kulusevski as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at Reddit. 1 sec. Lucas Moura football. Lucas Moura's football in one picture. It says Lucas Moura goes on a solo run, but he fails to create a chance as an opposition player blocks in. The ball goes behind for a corner, and Tottenham will have the opportunity from the corner. That pretty much sums up Lucas Moura, doesn't it?
Literally, down to a T.
Even Conte was blown away from Sonny's goal.
Brilliant.
I love Conte so much. He reacts to that. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant stuff. There was Son having a bit of a Golini pinching him yesterday on the sidelines during the game.
Golini seems like a good cheerleader.
Rodon seems to be enjoying it. Conte hugging Sonny after the game. Apparently, Conte said to Sonny after the game, "I don't know what footed are you? You say you're right-footed, but are you right-footed? I don't know." After seeing Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Romero play yesterday, he says, "Y'all got any more of those Juve rejects?" Which I thought was quite funny. Then that was the cameo from Kulusevski. Went through it before, and that's it really.
All right. So that is how social media did react to the 3-1 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yesterday. We got some super chats to get through. I mean, I think there are more than this, but I've only got 2 on my screen.
I've got a few here.
Go on, you take them away then.
Well, Dark Sun G21 says, "Do you think Liverpool will rest players for our match because they'll play Villarreal 3 to 4 days before us, and they go to Villa 3 days later, or go all in?" I think they can't. First of all, their depth is so good, it doesn't matter whether they rest players or not. You're talking about, do they play Diaz or Jota? You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter, does it? They're going to be just as hard to play against. But considering they play us after Villarreal, not before, I don't see any danger of them resting players. They're going to be full throttle for that game because they need to win every game to keep pace with City.
I mean, they're going for the bloody quadruple, man.
They're not gonna. First of all, I don't think it matters, and I don't think they'll go all in.
I mean, when we played them earlier on in the season, what sort of lineup did they have? Because I remember
they had Van Dijk out, and they had all their midfielders out.
Oh, they had Morton in the middle with Keita and Milner.
Yes.
Konate, Matip at the back.
Yeah.
Van Dijk didn't play.
No.
Robertson on the left, Trent on the right, Salah, Jota, and Mane up top.
It wasn't the weakest of teams. It was.
I mean, apart from Van Dijk apart from Matip and Morton, that's the same team pretty much that they played on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Konate's got a lot of games now. He plays a lot.
He's a good player, really good
Obviously, I think the bigger one is Morton in midfield, but they had Milner on the bench. They could have played Milner. Did Milner start?
Milner started on the weekend and he started against us, yeah.
No, they had another player on the bench. Was it Ox?
Against us?
Yeah. Was it Ox on the bench? They had a midfielder on the bench. They decided not to play.
Oxlade was on the bench, yeah.
Yeah, so they could have played him if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
But they decided to play Morton instead. Like, if you play a midfield three of Keita, Milner, and Oxlade, it's not like the weakest like in the world. It's not great, but it's not like you face that and think, oh, we're guaranteed to win now. You know what I mean?
But when you're changing it from Thiago and the players that they did have,
Thiago, he's actually the one I'm really worried about on the weekend. Because I know he's going to get time and space on the ball because of the midfield we have.
We just got to hope that they have a really taxing game tomorrow night against Villarreal.
Yeah, and hope they get tired or something. Well, look, the most hope I have is I have more hope about the City game that we played rather than that game against Liverpool early in the season. But then you look at the team we played in the season. We had no Romero.
Ndombele, Winks, Ali, a back three of Sanchez, Dyer, Davis.
You know what I mean?
Sessegnon, Emerson.
you know, we had a lot of players missing as well. Everyone forgets that.
We need to go play that same formation again against Liverpool. We need to pack the
With
midfield.
three in the
we
middle.
need to put 3 in midfield. We have to.
I don't think we will. I think
I know we won't.
do what we did
I don't
against
think
City.
we will, but I think we should.
Against City, we didn't hurt us too much.
I know. You're right, it didn't. But at that point of the season, at this point of the season, I think they're just going to throw everything at us, man. They're
Yeah,
going
it's
to throw
gonna be
everything
difficult.
at us. At this stage of the season, you don't want to be playing these teams.
No, definitely not. Dark Sun G21 again says, do you think Chelsea will lose 2 or 3 games and go 5th? I don't see it personally. You never know. You look, they might go on a massive losing streak and drop out. But yeah, no, someone also mentioned in the comments, Dark Sun G says Chelsea got 4th because we beat Leicester, remember, at the end of the season. So talking about them
True.
at the end of the season, you know,
true.
they nearly dropped out.
Yeah.
It was only us beating Leicester that made them
Yeah.
lose 4th. Unknown says, Arsenal fan here, best outcome is Chelsea coming 5th. Well, I'll take it if you offered it to me.
I'll take it, but it's not the best
I
outcome.
don't think it's the best outcome. Puzar says, after watching Lucas play for 54 minutes ahead of Kulu and Stevie, I cannot blame Stevie for wanting to leave in the summer. Hope Lucas goes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree in terms of the way Stevie's thinking. If he's not going to play when Kulu's coming out the team and Lucas gets in ahead of him. But not only that, it's like Lucas always gets on the pitch before him as well.
Yeah, it's very strange why that keeps happening.
So, yeah, I think if I was Stevie, I'd probably be looking to leave as well. I mean, I just don't think he's getting respected enough.
That's all for the Super Chats, I believe.
All right, so that is it from the Super Chats. Unfortunately, we're running a bit short for time today, so we're not going to be able to get some guests on, but predicted lineup, match ratings, player ratings, 5 takeaways, and a Tottenham update is coming your way for the rest of the day. So a lot of content. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.